So I have a brand new campaign idea. So I came up with this new campaign setting. So I have an idea for a new campaign. So I got this idea for a unique campaign setting. So I designed this brand new campaign.
Are you ever going to stop making new campaigns? You don't even have time to run them all.
I don't know. Are you ever going to stop being
A what? A what? Say it.
Thank you, Delta.
I have never been so insulted in my entire life.
I've often heard tales of players lamenting all the different character ideas they've come up with, but will never have an opportunity to play. While I empathize with them, I do know that this situation is not unique to players. Dungeon Masters also suffer this fate, yet it happens on a much larger scale. It's not just characters that we don't get to run, but entire campaign world. So rather than let my own unused settings waste away in some dusty old notebook, I want to share them with my fellow DMs to help inspire them as they create and expand their own worlds. Each of the following campaigns has some unique aspect that sets it apart from others. Now, prepare yourself as we begin our multi-world journey through the Menagerie. Forget the civilized societies found in most D&D worlds. It's time to join the savage tribes of Menagerie in Blood Dominion, legacy of the Orc Lords. Inhabited by orcs, goblins, kobolds, ogres, trolls, and numerous other savage races, Menagerie is steeped in a history of struggle and conflict. Yet the people of this inhospitable world continue to fight, building an empire on the shattered bones of their enemies. Players in Blood Dominion can traverse this rugged landscape, establishing new outposts and defending them against feral dwarves, treasure-hungry dragons, and otherworldly invaders. Even the land itself poses great challenges to those who stray too far from their den. Razor-sharp brambles, life-sapping glaciers, fiery volcanoes, and shattering earthquakes await those who seek to claim territory for themselves. But such struggles are not without reward. The raucous feasts and drunken revelries the Orc Lords host are like no other, as they celebrate the victory of their kin and allies. But the work isn't done. Not yet. Your players will be challenged by rivals of the savage pantheon of gods who oversee Menagerie, journey to other worlds to rescue unique races of orcs from overwhelming oppressors, and face elemental terrors that could tear their world apart. Not a job you'd send a prissy paladin or squeamish elf to handle, because in Blood Dominion, it's not about good versus evil. It's about bad versus evil. The orcs of Menagerie aren't the only ones fighting to survive in their own world. For more than 3,000 years, the overgrowth has spread across the face of Magadan. Civilizations have been consumed by nature, with only a few regions still resisting the creeping doom. Of those that have survived, some have adapted to this new life. Others contend with it on a daily basis, while a handful have managed to control the spread entirely, at least for now. But how will you deal with these untamed lands? Will you become their master, or fall to them as prey? Prepare yourself for an adventure like no other. The most unique aspect of the Awakened campaign is the wide range of gaming genres contained in this single world. Players begin in the Tamed Wilds, a small sandbox hexcrawl area filled with a variety of simple quests, unique enemies, and several dungeons for the party to explore. Cut off from the rest of the world due to the influence of the overgrowth, PCs must battle their way to the final vine-covered dungeon of this region and defeat the aspect of the overgrowth in order to reopen the mountain pass and continue their adventures. But once they do, the entire world of Magadan awaits them. Beyond the Tamed Wilds is the Clockwork Republic, a steampunk setting that forms the heart of civilization on Magadan. Through the marvels of technology, nearly every trace of the overgrowth has been eradicated inside this mechanized nation. Here, the players can engage in political intrigue and espionage within the ruling houses, utilizing complex gadgets common to this realm in their adventures. Will one noble house rise above the rest, or will they all fall as the overgrowth grows more and more powerful beyond the nation's borders? Outside of the Clockwork Republic lies the blighted lands known as the Duchy of Lorne, a place of rotting death where the overgrowth cannot abide. Intelligent undead and other monsters populate this horror-themed region, some friend and some foe, but all ruled by the werewolf queen Caroline. With the overgrowth held at bay, a moral battle takes place in these dark lands. Players must choose sides between the Eternal Light, an order of priests and paladins seeking to reclaim these blighted lands, or the Wolf Queen and her army of abominations and undead who call this region home. Only one question remains: who here is the true monster? Sailing across the treacherous seas of Magadan brings travelers to the Turquoise Isles, It is here where players can battle in the high seas and lay claim to the precious port towns that dot the isles, all while struggling to protect these isolated lands from the overgrowth and the oceanic terrors it commands. Far from those troubled shores rests the Shinji province, the oldest nation to resist the spread of the overgrowth. Tradition holds strong here, from ancient religions to intricate hand-to-hand combat techniques. Players can train in the martial arts, using their skills to battle the evil spirits of nature summoned by the overgrowth in a land steeped in far eastern tradition. Will the overgrowth ever be defeated, or will it eventually destroy all of Magadan? Only the bravest adventurers can face this world-spanning monster directly. In the caldera, survival is key. Legend tells that this is where the heart of the overgrowth can be found. High-level adventure awaits those players fearless enough to enter the caldera. Filled with mutated beasts and nightmarish horrors, few have ventured into this dreaded land, and none have returned. Will you be the first? If saving an entire world is too daunting a task for your players, then why not start with a single city? In Lawless, the great city of Halcyon is overrun with every type of criminal imaginable. Once described as the jewel of the kingdom, Halcyon was the target of a fleet of Githyanki raiders from the astral plane. After crashing their flagship into the palace and murdering the royal family, they descended on the populace. Yet even as the city fell to these extraplanar invaders, salvation would soon arrive on angelic wings. The White Shield, an order of celestials dedicated to protecting the material plane from the threat of outsiders, learned of the Githyanki invasion plan and went into action. What the Astral Armada believed to be an easy victory quickly turned into utter defeat as they were driven back into the silvery void. With the attackers vanquished, the White Shield departed, leaving only a handful of their members behind to search the city for stragglers. With Halcyon now in ruins and its military wiped out, the criminal factions that remained hidden just beneath the surface of society sprang to life, claiming sectors of the capital for themselves and vying for dominance against one another. Fear claimed the populace as criminal syndicates and diabolic cults began roaming the streets in broad daylight. They pleaded with the White Shield for protection, yet the Celestials' vows only dealt with planar threats, not those native to the material plane. But some had pity on the citizens of Halcyon. While they could not aid them directly, they began to organize and train those who wished to fight back. As citizens of this once great city, PCs can join the fight to reclaim Halcyon against the villains who now control it. Fighting and defeating these enemy factions will take time, but with each district of the city separated from the others by strong walls and the protective magic of the White Shield, players have an opportunity to cut their teeth on weaker foes before moving on to greater challenges. With the entire Lawless campaign taking place within the city of Halcyon, some rules require change. Background features have been adapted to a fully urban setting. A new bartering system replaces the standardized coins used in most settings. With the city falling into ruins, currency has little value. Instead, PCs can scavenge common items from enemies and trade them to artisans working to aid the freedom fighters of Halcyon, crafting them into useful gear and simple potions. And with everyone working together, you may yet have a chance to reclaim your home. Sometimes all you need for a good campaign is a new beginning. This is where Shoals of Pain starts, as Christoph Cole, a naval warlord from the kingdom of Ostrike, sets sail across the endless sea and discovers the tropical island nation of Kiskea. Home to several tribes of primitive lizard folk, Cole petitioned these natives for aid and established a handful of outposts on the great island. But it wasn't long before he started taking advantage of these people, forcing them into slavery to build newer and greater settlements. Those who had followed Cole seeking a new life on Kiskea quickly found that they were in no better shape than the natives. Tempered by the cold winters and mild summers of Ostrike, they were overwhelmed by the heat of the tropics. Food spoiled and sickness grew rampant among the colonists, yet Cole was indifferent to their plight, seeking only resources and plunder from this new region. Revolts by the enslaved natives and disillusioned colonists were put down by the warlord's navy, his military might too powerful to overcome. And so the people of Kiskea, both native and newcomer, continued to do as they were told. Life, such as it was, continued on the island. Players in this campaign begin in the small settlement of Belladonna, working alongside fellow villagers and the lizard folk slaves who aid them. Uniting the two groups against Christoph Cole is the ultimate goal of the campaign, but a number of the warlord's lieutenants stand in the way. Nicholas Ovander, a retired paladin and current mayor of Belladonna, considers the native lizard folk to be heathen savages and hopes to secretly kill the entire race. He will likely be the first obstacle the players face when going after Cole. Francesca Luck, a famous treasure hunter from Ostrike and personal friend of Cole, now explores the jungles of Kiskea in search of riches, enslaving and slaughtering the natives as she goes. In Queen's Dominion, the new capital of Kiskea, Dietrich Cole has established himself as governor of the island. The younger brother of Kristoff, he now deals with any uprisings by the populace and squashes them as brutally as possible to make an example of such traitors. And Kristoff's newest ally, the necromancer Pontius Chimera, is currently sailing from Ostrike in his ghost ship Revenant to gather unruly natives from the island for his necrotic experiments. Will your players be able to counter such threats, marshaling the natives and colonists together into a force even Kristoff Cold cannot ignore? Or will their insurrection against the mighty warlord be stamped into the mud? Set sail in this tropical setting to discover who will prevail on the Shoals of Pain. So far, we've only dealt with campaigns set on dry land or open sea, but now it's time to take to the air with Skyfire. The Cloud Kingdom of Stratos and the mountain nation of the Nimbus Peaks have recently gone to war against one another. When the PCs, traveling by commercial airship, get caught in this war, they'll need to choose a side or find a way to hide from both. The lofty world of Himmel introduces players to aerial combat, battling enemies from the seat of an ornithopter or back of a griffin, rattling off bolts from a repeating crossbow mounted to your cockpit, and lobbing goblin bombs onto the wings of your opponents. Hand-to-hand combat still takes place on the deck of zeppelins and flying galleys, with swords clashing, spells zipping through the air, and the threat of falling to your doom in ever-present danger. In spite of the aerial setting, traditional dungeons can still be found here. While the soldiers of Stratos are scouring an ancient dwarven outpost in the mountains, Nimbus warriors assault a weapons depot on the fringes of one of the Cloud Isles. Social encounters are also plentiful. Bargains can be made with intelligent monsters and other powerful beings to gain an advantage in the war, while dissenters within the populace may need to be handled with a gentle touch to avoid all-out rioting. Who will come out victorious in this aerial war? And can peace ever be attained? Find out when you and your players delve into this high-fantasy, high-flying world. Take to the skies with Skyfire. That does it for this episode. If you're ever in need of a new idea for your next campaign, region, or one-shot adventure, keep these settings in mind to add some uniqueness to your game. And if you're interested in learning more about any of these settings, leave a comment below. Until next time, I'm David Watches.
And I'm Nepal Mandia.
And thanks for watching. Special thanks to my longtime friend Bill Batchelor for creating the logo for this channel, and to Dylan Smith for the character art used in this and other videos. I couldn't have done it without them.
For more D&D tips, check out these hot videos.